Hello, hello, Patriots. Hello, friends. Robert Imbrielli here. We were attempting to do this show live today, and well, actually, I am live. Hang on. Yeah, I'm still alive. I'm live here doing the recording. That's what I'm doing. But weren't able to go live. Rumble kind of crapped out on us. So we're recording this with the same energy, the same vim and vigor that we always have. And hopefully you will enjoy because we have a heck of a show planned for you. Let me bring in my amazing co host, Mr. Lewis Herms, who is always unmuted and ready to go. Lewis, how are what? Hey, you know
Oh, we're
what?
alive. Yes, we are alive. Sorry about that. Wow. Can we avoid gremlins? Can we just run from gremlins? I just, Lord Almighty, please watch over our show and make sure we can disseminate our information to the masses without any glitches. Amen.
Amen. Yeah, exactly. I
I
was
mean,
on tech support with
wow.
the Restream folks trying to figure out the Rumble issues we were having last week, and it got escalated to the second level of developers, and they sent me a whole bunch of stuff on Friday, and whatever they did, it started working again. So I ran the Lance interview that we did a few weeks prior. I ran that one as a live event just to test everything out, and it worked fine. It works great. And today, we've got three different Rumble feeds, and all three of them failed. So, yeah.
Well, sorry, Rumble, but we have some technology that we're working with. So when this happens in the future, folks, you'll be able to go to screwbiggov.com and watch us live. So
Yep.
that's so we need to have control of this. The deep state is going crazy. They're doing everything to block any patriot message coming out. It is just absolutely blows me away. Um, Robert, our special guest that's coming in, if he's in the back, will he be able to watch this at the same time,
Oh,
or do
yeah.
you have to?
Nope.
Okay, good, because he wants to see this. And then, folks, while you're here, can you do us a favor? We need as much help as we can. Can you like, subscribe, and unfortunately, double check your subscription? Because we know that they're being taken out. My wife got taken down 2 times last week. Yeah, you would think she would like to subscribe to my channel, right? And
Yeah.
she's got unsubscribed 2 times. Many of you are getting unsubscribed. I don't know what's going on. Yes, we do know what's going on, but I'm not going to point any fingers. Oh, I did. You deep state bastards, you rat bastards, but that's all right because our vibrations are high. Um, the AIs are also attacking. Robert, you have a little message in regards to that, don't you?
Yeah, I just want to remind everyone to be aware. There are many AIs at work. They're trying to steal your money, and they do. They're successful, sadly, a lot of times. We do not reach out to you personally, and all of our links and to our sponsors you will find on our websites. You're seeing Screw Big Gov right there, and also renegademedia.tv. So if you're concerned about a link and you're not sure if it's a link coming from us, if it's not on the website, it's not coming from us. So just please double check before you click on these links because there's a lot of stuff going on out there. I was in the Renegade Media Telegram this morning, and Phoebe was like, "Hey, this is spam. Hey, this is spam. Hey, this is spam." And I said, "I know. We try our best to be on top of it." And one of the things that's real important for all of us, and it's hard when you have a huge following, right, is you got to keep on top of it and block all these accounts to keep the level of the garbage down. If you don't do it, then what happens is your account ends up on a list when all the spammers share it, and they say, "Hey, these are channels where you can spam," and it won't get deleted. And it just keeps going and going and going, and you get more and more spam, and eventually, sadly, guys. So if you see stuff in there in the Screw Big Gov on Telegram or on X or on Renegade Media that you think, hey, this doesn't belong, you could just email us or alert us to it, and we'll make sure that it gets removed because there's a lot of it happening today. Just be buyer beware at this point to be very careful on links that you click on.
So real quick on Instagram, TikTok, BitChute, Rumble, X, and YouTube, there are accounts that are called Lewis Herms. Zero of those are mine. None. Zip, zero, zilch,
Yep.
zippo, the big
Yep.
goose egg, nothing, not a yet. I have a Facebook under my name, Lewis Herms, that I never touch. So just so you're very clear, in addition to that, what's going on now, and this is important for us to speak about, they are using AI to reproduce our voice as if we're actually talking to you, and they'll put it in your direct messages. Right? It's happened to me. It's happened to at least two other people that I know of, and I'm going. I think they have two goals, Robert. Um, three maybe. I think they want to create a sense of confusion and apathy with inside the viewership, so they stop watching and their numbers drop. I think, of course, they want to try to steal money, which they've been successful. I'm estimating from, and you guys listen to this number so you know how serious this is. I'm estimating that about $8,500 has been stolen just from my audience of people posing from me as if they're me.
Yep.
Very, very serious. And I think they're number one, and this is the Patriots aren't talking about this, but I think this is the number one. I believe they're trying to make it so hard for podcasters to do their work, and they want to make it so they don't look like they're getting any traction, so we just give up. So this is a mind F is what it is. It's a spiritual battle that we're going through, an informational battle. So, and I talked to several, and several, by the way, have already quit. You've probably noticed. It's not because they don't do good work. It's because their channels get jacked with so much, they just throw up their hands and they go, "I'm done. I can't handle it anymore."
Yeah, exactly.
It takes People don't understand the hours and hours it takes just to try to fix the stuff that the deep state is throwing at us, right? So be aware of that. We're not going anywhere. We're not going to put up with it. We know our numbers are dropping, and we know it's not because of the content. Robert and I went to two events this weekend, and we had so many people come up and say how much they appreciated. By the way, none of those events were SBG centric, so there should have been, or renegade centric. So the fact that at one of these events was pretty much a Christian event, and half of the people came up to us and thanked us for what we do. So we're getting out there traction. We can't even look at the numbers anymore, right? Because the numbers, I think, are supposed to mentally, they're trying to affect us and affect you guys. So guys, we're very happy about the way we're going. We got some exciting stuff. This show today is amazing. So I'll let Robert get to it. And what we have coming in the next 2 months, and then the kickoff of the Unity Tour, is going to blow your mind. Let me just tell you about some guests we have coming up. James Rink, Kathy O'Brien, Ethan Lucas, Laura Worley, Sheila Holmes, and much, much more. So it's going to be a lot of fun coming up here. So we're very, very excited, guys. But you'll look for us on Robert's Telegram, which is renegademedia.tv, is it? That's your website.
Yep. Just Renegade Media on Telegram.
And then you can go to screwbiggov.com.
Yep.
All right, let's roll.
Interesting weekend, to say the least, and it was really a lot of fun to actually meet some of our viewers live and in person. It's always fun because you walk into a room like that and they come running at you. They know who you are. You have no idea who they are because you don't meet them, right? It's a one-way kind of relationship we've got here. And we try hard not to make it that way. We try to make it so that's why I put my email up there. So if you can email me, and Lewis we have the chat rooms going, and we have Telegram where we can respond to posts and post your 2 cents in there. As we try to make it as two-way as possible. Not perfect. At some point we'll all be on Zoom and we'll see everyone's image, and then we'll know who you are, right? But it's not that way. So Lewis is right. We are having an impact out there. It's kind of interesting to see what kind of impact. And there's a prevailing theme that I was sensing this week, and I had quite a few conversations around it, where Lewis, you called it apathy. There's apathy in the marketplace. I'm calling it frustration. It's sort of the similar kind of thing where people are like, we need to see more. We need to see more. We need to see more. Well, what happened over the weekend and today, you should be getting the feeling that things are happening. The tide has begun to shift. And it's a little bit hard, right? If you're on the beach and the tide's all the way up, and how do you know it's going back? It's like, well, every wave goes a little bit shorter, a little bit shorter, a little bit shorter, and it's a slow process. It's over hours, right? Well, this is much bigger than that even, and I think we're going to see those changes, but they're going to come slowly. and we're seeing them. And we're going to talk about that today in some of the stories we've got, and help fill you guys in, and let you know that not all is lost. And I understand. I got the frustration. I'm frustrated too. I want to see it happen faster, but we have to learn to be a little bit patient and stay in the game. Now is not the time to be dropping out. And Lewis, I think one point on the AI, one thing that they're trying to do is to discourage the audiences by putting a lot of spam in there and getting them to invest in cryptos. And what happens is when they invest in the crypto and the crypto isn't delivered because it's a scam, then they get mad at the host and they say the host did this. And then that echoes out. And people say, don't watch SBG, Lewis and Rob, they're horrible people, they stole my money, blah, blah, blah. And, that negative information travels much faster than the positive. So it'll damage our audiences going forward. And it's why we're trying our best to be on top of it as much as we can.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I love where we're going, and we're gonna be. Our goal is to be in front of these deep state actors, and that's why we will be streaming these live on screwbiggov.com here shortly. So if there's ever an issue, great. We're like, okay, no big deal. We'll just go there.
Yeah. So
That you can't pop.
What's that?
I just made it up. Simple like a pimple that you can't pop.
Simple like a pimple that you can't pop. Okay, good. So part of the win we're starting to see, this was a truth from Donald Trump this morning. Today's historic decision by the Supreme Court could end all of Crooked Joe's journalist attack on the amazing business I have built, and the fake Bergdorf's case, proud to be an American. Should give you hope, because the Supreme Court all of a sudden is coming in our direction.
So, President Trump, yes, he is right. And I think that we are missing the ball here, and you're going to show it soon. By far, the biggest decision that we could ever have, we're going to talk about in a moment. In regards to this, though, this is pretty cool, because what it does, and he pretty much said it emasculates the deep state going after him for things they claim he did wrong. Like, I'm assuming that's going to have to do with the files that he kept and statements he made and writings that he had and so on and so forth. Because if it was quote unquote official business, they can't do anything. The question is, Robert, does that exonerate Vice President Joe Biden when he did the same? I don't think it does, which is cool, because
no, what he did is criminal. So that's outside of his. Yeah. So he did things that were criminal. As a senator, he should not have access to classified documents, but he did. Not only did he have access to them, he took them home.
Yep.
Can't do that
As a vice president.
Yeah.
So I think this is a, how do I say that? This is a dog whistle out there saying pretty much that a president can do what President Trump did, but a vice president and senator can never do that. Therefore, they are going to be held accountable. And I see accountability rolling down July. I can't even imagine what July is going to bring us, because everything we see is the deep state is getting slapped in the face.
Right. Well, it's bringing us Canada Day today, so that's a start, right? And then we'll have the 4th of July and our Independence Day, and then I think from there things are really going to heat up. We're seeing Antifa popping up here, there, and everywhere. They exploded in France over the weekend because what? A populist person, Marine Le Pen, won. I don't really understand how their elections go. She won in the first round, and then there'll be another round on July 4th, and it's like a little bit confusing to understand how it works.
Here's where I think they do it similar to sometimes local elections, which isn't bad. So I think she got like 37%. Macron's party got like 24%. Don't quote me on the numbers, but something like that. And then what happens is, then they'll take, I think, the top two, based on the percentage of the 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and then they'll rerun against each other again. And it looks like she's just going to destroy Macron's and his transvestite wife's complete party. But this is happening everywhere, and it's very exciting what we're seeing, because we're seeing patriots rise up worldwide and just say, we're done. We're not gonna have it anymore. Um, so we'll see what happens. But that France decision, I think, is a lot bigger than people are making it out to be. And it's because of the fake polling that they had in their mainstream media. It took their mainstream media by surprise.
Yeah, yeah, it really did. And I don't know if it was so much by surprise, and you're seeing that after the debate here. People are like on the other side. They're like, the media is so surprised. And they're just trying to make that U-turn, right? They're trying to turn that around because they've known it. I mean, we knew it before he was even elected. It was even installed. I shouldn't even say elected. Before he was installed, we knew he was suffering from dementia. All the media knew. And all of a sudden, after this debate performance, oh my God, we never knew. Wow! And now
Yeah,
they've been given
of
permission to
course.
talk about it, so they're out there talking about it.
Right. When I say surprise, I'm talking about the polls,
Right.
because
Hmm.
the mainstream media is actually fed the wrong polls. See, it's like actors. They're actors, and they only want to give them enough information so they can put the false narrative. So they never show the mainstream media the real polls, right? But the mainstream media definitely can see. They can see, like, that dude is whacked.
Yeah.
So when they actually say something about him, they know they're lying, but then they refer back in their mind, well, my journalist contract actually was an entertainment contract that I said. So tell me to pretend I'm good. My karma's good. This is the way these people operate. And it's very, as our guest coming on, Alan Fountain, knows, extraordinarily compartmentalized all throughout the deep state apparatus. So not everybody knows everybody. They do know they're doing wrong. I know they know. They know.
Yeah, no question, and I think they like our border patrol, like many of our law enforcement. The paycheck is more important than the morality, and that's really where we are in this society. And we've got to start holding these people's feet to the fire and let them know, hey, morality is the more important piece here. And if you don't step up and start telling the truth, so what if you lose your job? Big deal. What did it do to
Mhm.
Tucker? Tucker is like 50 times more popular now than he was when he was stuck at Fox, right? Bill O'Reilly didn't fare so well, but Bill's got
Yeah.
a
So
weird.
I've had these,
Go ahead.
but but I say forget them. I'm thinking about, for example, the border patrol and the police officers. I've had these deep
Yeah,
conversations with them
yeah.
in their face, literally in the face of sheriffs, and saying, "Hey, guys, when are you going to step up and say, no, we're not going to enforce these unconstitutional policies? We're not going to do that. We're going to do what's right by the Constitution." Many of them say, well, and they say, sir, we really want to, if they don't know my name, right? And they're like, we really want to, but we have our pensions and our children. And then
Hmm.
I say, okay. So what you're saying is your personal finances are more important than the legacy that you would be leaving. And I said, do you really think under a communist dictatorship that you're going to have any pensions? You probably won't even have a job. So is that really going to be your take on this? Well, and then it goes to, well, I can't get enough of my brothers, that's what they call them, to go on with me. It's an excuse after an excuse. And I go, okay, well, it's your choice. So I personally would rather have my great grandkids talking and saying, you know what, Grandpa Louie really did everything he could to make our life good, right? Not Grandpa Louie left great grandma a whole bunch of money. That's never gonna play.
Right.
It's We are fighting for generations to come. People need to stop worrying about their personal stuff and fight for the future, in my opinion. But we've been ingrained to be inherently selfish, especially financially.
We've also been taught to wait our turn, right, and wait for permission to act. And I think that's when I coach people in the business world, more often than not, what they need is permission to succeed. What? Who needs permission to succeed? Well, we all do. Why? Because we were brought up in a system that indoctrinated us not to move forward without permission. No, you can't go to the bathroom. Need a hall pass. Need to ask the teacher, right? So we were
Yep.
brought up in
Yep.
that kind of a system. And, I think all of us are standing by waiting for permission. Somebody's going to say go. Well, nobody wants to say go because that's the first person they'll throw in jail. The person who said go, right? Kind of a weird
Yeah,
situation we find ourselves in.
absolutely.
Yeah.
It's all right. The deep state's getting their ass kicked, and we're going to keep going.
Well, they were dealt a pretty serious blow on Friday with the release of one of the SCOTUS rulings. And I think this one is passed under the bridge with a lot of people. I don't think the media quite understands it. It's a little complicated to understand, but you have to realize that the deep state is what this targeted more than anything. So I have here, somebody posted this on X, and I think it was a good outline. So I'm going to read this to you. It's a little longer than I normally read stuff, but I'll read it for you. And by the way, I hated reading out loud in school. I don't know why I'm doing this all the time now. But here we are. The Chevron deference. For those who don't understand what the Chevron deference is and why SCOTUS ended it, here's the long and the short of it. A family fishing company, Loper Bright Enterprises, was being driven out of business because they couldn't afford the $700 per day they were being charged by the National Marine Fisheries Service to monitor their company. There's another dairy here in California that went out of business because the FDA did the same thing to them. The thing is, federal law doesn't authorize the National Marine Fisheries Service to charge businesses for this. They just decided to start doing it in 2013. Sound familiar? Why did they think they could get away with just charging people without any legal authorization? Because in 1984, the Chevron decision, the Supreme Court decided that regulatory agencies were the experts in their field, and the courts should just defer to their interpretation of the law. Hence, Chevron deference. We're going to defer to the experts and let them figure out what to do, rather than Congress writing those laws. So for the past 40 years, federal agencies have been able to interpret laws to mean whatever they want, and the courts just had to go with it. It was called a Chevron deference, and it put bureaucrats in charge of the country. This is the deep state, people. We talk about what the deep state is: bureaucrats, unelected officials making laws. It's how OSHA was able to decide that everyone who worked for a large company had to get the jab or be fired. Remember that? It's how the ATF, was it ATF, was alcohol, tobacco, firearms. That's what the A stands for. Boy, I don't drink. Was able to decide that a piece of plastic
Sounds
was
like
a machine
you do
gun.
right now.
Yeah, maybe I need a drink, right? It's how the National Conservation Resource Service was able to decide that a small puddle could be called protected wetlands. Happened a lot around here at the farms. It's how out-of-control agencies have been able to create rules out of thin air and force you to comply, and the courts had to simply defer to them because they were, quote-unquote, the experts. It was not only blatantly unconstitutional, it caused immeasurable harm to everyone. Thankfully, now it's gone. We haven't even begun to feel the effects of this decision on the courts. It will be used for years to come to roll back federal agencies, and we'll all be better off for it. And that's why politicians and corporate media are freaking out. That's the long and the short of it. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy.
Okay. I'm so excited about this one.
Yeah.
So you hung out with me a little bit on Saturday, and pretty much I was screaming at the top of my lungs on this decision all day long. Mm-hmm. And I was shocked that nobody was talking about it. Now, finally on Monday, people are starting to talk about it. I almost think it's like, they're like, oh, other people are talking about it, so let's talk about it. Maybe it was too convoluted, but I don't think that's why the media is not talking about it. I think
it came out on a Friday. I remember that. It's a Friday decision.
Right. Well, that's the game they played too. Mm-hmm. But I don't think the reason why the media wasn't talking about it was because they didn't understand it. I think the media wasn't talking about it because it totally exposes the deep state apparatus.
Oh, yeah.
And it literally pulls the clothes off of them, and they are naked on a cold, rainy day. That's what's going on. This is huge. So let's be clear. All these non-government organizations, these unelected bureaucrats, by the way, which the lobbyists push to get in there, right? They're all affected deeply on this because they have no teeth now. What they used to do, Robert made a great point of this, is they would give Fee is another way to tax you, but they don't want to call it the evil tax word, so it's just a fee or whatever they want to call it that you pay. It's disgusting. And I don't think that the Supreme Court in 1984, I don't even know if they had ill intent when they approve this. Maybe they're thinking, yeah, experts, it makes sense for experts to do this.
Right. It was
But
correcting a problem that existed back then.
right, but
Yeah.
the deep state's like, oh my lord, opportunity, let's roll,
They ran
right?
with it. Yep. Yeah.
And wow, did they ever. In fact, I believe, and people don't get upset, don't get triggered by what I say, just listen to my words, please. I believe this is a bigger decision than Roe's Way. Here's why. Because Roe versus Wade did great repealing it because they sent it back to the states to make the individual decisions. The reality is some states are not going to make that decision that you want. So there will still be some abortions until things get cleaned up. This decision is unilateral. And I just wrote down while Robert was talking. Think of these names: OSHA, EPA, Bureau of Land Management, CDC, WEF, WHO, UN. Every decision they make at Davos, all this stuff is gone history. It's out of there because it has to go through Congress, get approved in Congress, and then go, of course, to the Senate, right? And then get signed off by the president at the time. There's virtually nothing can go through that whole process. Plus, if I'm wrong, wasn't it a 60-40 vote or something, Robert? But we'll have to check on that.
Mm-hmm.
If it is, that makes it even tougher for them to get anything through. This is the most epic pro-patriot decision that we've seen in decades. And what it is, it's a systematic dismantling of the deep state. In fact, tomorrow on Nicholas Veniamin, I'm going to go through a lot of the SCOTUS decisions we've had, and I'm going to show how we're systematically are literally cutting the legs off of the deep state. This is a most amazing, wonderful decision. Now, I'm excited, but let's bring it down right down here. There is a concern. The deep state has a history of not responding and just ignoring these things. So the question is, when they do that, and they will, how will we, the people, act? Because we, the people, are the plan. I'm not selling that shirt yet, so too bad, guys. So
Can't get it. Can't get it yet.
but we, the people, are the plan. So how do we react when the deep state tries to just keep putting things through like normal? This is why we need the education to say, nope, can't do this, can't do this, can't do this. So I hope they try, and then I hope we, the people, start to stand up constantly and say, nope, it's unconstitutional, it's been proven, it's gone through SCOTUS. So the other thing this really does, which may be intentional, if you want to talk about the big movie picture, this sets President Trump up for success. So President Trump now can further emasculate all those three-letter agencies and those NGOs, get rid of all the unelected bureaucrats that can make any decisions. They will be see the way unelected officials should be. They should be consultants, advisors, and paper pushers, not decision makers. Not for us, not for we the people.
Right.
So I think this is an epic decision that will have a lot bigger ramifications than people think right now.
I think we're gonna see if we are indeed living in a post-constitutional America pretty quickly, because if they continue to ignore this ruling, which says all these agencies are they can't make laws, and all the laws that they've made are unconstitutional, and these things are not rolled back, which I suspect will happen, then the question is, okay, where's our teeth? Where are the teeth that we need to stop it? Right? The Constitution
Yeah, I mean, I
alone
think that's a
says
great
something, but it's
point.
got to be enforced to
But
be active.
Yeah, but you also so sometimes laws don't become evident until the criminal acts. So this is I'm okay if they act unconstitutionally on this because I think it's part of the exposure
Hmm.
process,
Yeah.
and then we'll take them down. So I'm very interested as you to see what the reaction is going to be to this.
Yeah, that's what's really got me, looking at this and saying, okay, I'm excited, but I need to see it too because just hearing it is really good. I mean, the decision, yes, absolutely, this is cool. I noticed every decision was a 6-3 decision. That was kind of interesting too.
Yeah, that's not an accident, by the way, because what
No.
they're doing is they're exposing the other three SCOTUS. That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
Those judges, I think it's intentional because they are clearly political and not constitutional.
Right.
So I think it's actually brilliant. This is just everything's playing out the way it needs to be. That being said, guys, I think Robert and the tea leaves and many other people we talk to think uh, July is a tough month. In fact, I've been telling people for a while, and especially right now, I said you guys need to get prepared. Get your food and your water and your generators and everything you can. I think you're going to be surprised that a lot of people that you think are good are actually bad.
Hmm.
They're evil. And then opposite, I think you're going to be surprised that some people that you think are evil are actually playing a part. And you're going to go, wow, I really hated that person, but they were actually trying to help us
All of
by
a sudden, I'm a
exposing
fan of
stuff.
Jim Carrey again. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. You don't know, so it'll be very very interesting.
Yeah, it certainly will be. Hey, I want to check in. How are the pups doing?
Oh, the pups are amazing. As you know, I was gone this weekend. My wife was gone. As soon as my wife walked in, I noticed that Cody, the older one, was happy. Of course, your younger one, he's always going crazy. But Cooper, again, jumping up and down, so excited to see her. She walked through the door first, so she got all the love, and it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, they really do well, and Thumper's doing super as well. And he was oh boy, was he bugging me for food this morning? I was like, I gotta get the show ready. I gotta get the show ready. It's like I don't care now. It's like
Yep.
we're just staff to cats. I mean, that's just the way it is. And yeah, he's doing exceptionally well as well. So what are we talking about? We're talking about the pet food we give them, and Pet Club 24/7 is the food that we give to our pets because we love them and want them to be around as long as possible. And both Lewis and I have seen personally, firsthand. The only reason we can talk about this is because we've actually seen it firsthand, how much it is transformed. Should have been 9-0. He's right. If they were constitutional justices, that's the way it would have been. This should have been no brainer for them. 230 years of precedent here, guys. You know?
Yep. I see braided ropes in their future.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I see treasonous acts happening all over the place, and these people are going to be held accountable legally. Three-letter agencies. They're going to be held legally accountable, and they'll probably be swinging from a rope. To be honest with you, I mean, I wouldn't doubt it a bit, and as it should be. These are traitors and treasonous acts all over the place. Interesting enough, John Robin Roberts was a waffler all just virtually all last year and the year before. And he's been pretty on point lately. Isn't it interesting? Right after some information about possibly the way he got his kids or something came out. I don't know what it was. It was like they threw out just a little bit of cheese out there for us to chew on. Next thing you know, he's completely on point with his decisions.
Yep. So it is
Interesting.
clear, I think, from our perspective, that we can see a lot of these justices are probably controlled. They're not as free as we think they are. We think we have these justices up there and they're free and they can make their own decisions. I don't think that that's the case. I think because they are in lockstep and 6-3, 6-3,
Mm-hmm.
6-3. I'm like, come on,
Yep.
really again?
Yep.
Every ruling that comes out, it's the same thing. So it doesn't feel organic to me. It doesn't feel natural. It
Mm-hmm,
does feel
mm-hmm.
contrived and controlled.
Yeah, I would say on both sides, wouldn't
Oh
you?
yeah, no, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. I think the complete justice, which normally, even if they decide in my favor of what I like, normally I would say, oh, that's horrible. But right now we are in a war, right? And if we need to to hold the feet to the fire of these baddies, and that's the only way we can bring it right back to pre-1871 constitutional republic the way it's supposed to be. I'm all for it right now.
Yeah.
Let's get this done.
The court holds that a former president has absolute immunity for his core constitutional powers. Under our constitutional structure of separated powers, the nature of presidential power entitles a former president to absolute immunity from criminal prosecution for actions within his conclusive and preclusive constitutional authority. And he is entitled to at least presumptive immunity from prosecution for all his official acts. There is no immunity for unofficial acts.
Yeah. It's going to be, it's going to hit hard to, I think, a couple things. It's going to hit hard to let's say the Biden family, because we think Biden's off the map, but it's going to at least hit hard to the perception. Hard because of his illegal actions while being a senator and a vice president. And you know what? I think it's going to hit hard. I think it may hit hard to Obama's post presidential activity in regards to trying to circumvent President Trump and get involved in things that were overseas that he should never have had his hand in. So that's
Okay,
going to
then
be
that would
interesting also.
extend to Newsom. That would extend to so many who have
Exactly
done that,
right.
who've stepped into roles that they had no business stepping into.
Yep,
And
I
Lindsey
agree.
Graham falls into that category, right? There's a
Yeah,
lot of them.
yeah. You got to admit, though, Lindsey Graham looks really good in high heels.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he? So let's see. Let's put this one up first. Okay, this is a post from SG Anon today. SG Anon, really nice guy, by the way. The nature of presidential power entitles a former president to absolute immunity from criminal prosecution within his conclusive, blah, blah, blah. We just read that. And here's the thing. There is no immunity for unofficial acts. And here's some unofficial acts he lists here. When using ghost Gmail drafts, an official act. Was the sale of F-35 blueprints off book an official act? Was skimming uranium-1 under Hussein, coordinated by the U.S. CIA State Department with Hussein approval through private email channels, an official act? Was Pizzagate an official act? Was 10% for the big guy an official act? Was various U.S. and French dummy NGOs with funding from USAID budget an officially declared intent of the same act? Was orchestrating a coup against the lawful incoming president-elect by framing him for treason done through official channels? He says, step by step, it must be done right. Echoing what we keep hearing, we want to do this lawfully and legally.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think we're running on these two parallels on purpose. What it does for us, and I know you common law people, I'm with you, by the way. We're on the same page. Everything should run through common law. It should be lawfully. By the way, that I believe is the nod towards common law when he says lawfully, my opinion. Legally is the corporate cabal structure that we're under.
Mm-hmm.
But that being said, for the perception of the masses, it has to be run through the legal system as we know it, so people will accept it, which, by the way, you should want, because it will prevent riots, it will prevent disruption, it will prevent burning down some cities. Although I think they're going to be hit, it would make it a lot less because it was at least it was done legally. It doesn't look like Trump is a doing a coup, right? Now, from the common law perspective, I understand your frustration, but it has to go through that for perception reasons, in my opinion. And that's why I think we parallel it with common law. So all these decisions are literally breaking it right back down to the Constitution, where the Constitution is supposed to be. So what would be the final piece of that puzzle, in my opinion, would bring it to common law. Mm-hmm. So we're on our way to get there, guys. So for anybody that thinks it should all be common law, you're right, it should be, but it may not be the only path to get there. There may be another path to get there, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot for us to unpack here, and it'll be interesting. You know, like I said, we're going to be paying attention to this because I want to know how it unfolds. I want to know how it unrolls, right? And you say, oh, we're going to hold these people accountable. Well, that would be the Department of Justice, DOJ. They're not going to do anything right now. Nothing's going to happen
Nope.
out of there.
No.
That's probably what he would look like if he were still alive, if he were still in that role. But you know, SG Anon has said it too. He's like he fervently believes that this is a deep state or actually a white hat controlled thing to destroy the Democratic Party, and maybe it is. But you know,
Yeah.
how do you? Well, Jill may not be the same Jill either. They say she
No, I
might be
don't think so
replaced.
either.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So
I agree. I would say they're faux Bidens, is what I say.
yeah, it's probably the way to
Do
put
you have
it.
do you have another one of Jill?
I just have the one with the debate, which is in our WTF segment, but I don't have another one queued for you.
Okay, cool,
But I have the
cool.
Arby's one queued if you want to play that one.
Okay, are we going to bring in our guest right after that?
Of course, yeah, because we're at the
Okay,
hour mark already, believe it or not.
perfect. Okay, so pull this one up. This is interesting. Do you have the picture I sent you?
And do I have that picture? Let's see if I have it queued up.
Kind of the new logo they're using on social media.
That one I don't have. I have the other one.
Okay,
Yeah, okay.
I'll pull that up really
Okay.
quick here. Here's their, where is it? Uh, you have so much, they don't know how much content we put in the back in order to find this stuff.
It actually gets confusing because there's so much to go through.
Oh, well, yep. I don't know exactly where it is at this point. Anyway, so their logo is the pyramid with the all-seeing eye, right? But if you look at, a lot of people think, oh my, it's Illuminati. They're exposing themselves. They're telling you everything. Nah, maybe not on this one, because what happened is they they used to have these pyramid shaped um, little potatoes, fried potato things that people used to love. They actually have rounded corners. That's what that is. So in that little commercial they were running, that's what they're going to bring back is the potato itself. And if you look at the date on the pyramid in Roman numerals, it actually comes in 1964, which is when Arby's first establishment was open. So just want to add some context. Maybe they are telling on themselves, but also I think they're kind of just having fun playing with the narrative itself. Um, I used to be a big fan of Arby's. I used to love the beef and cheddar. Oh my God, it was so good. And
Yep. In those
then
days it was.
one day I was on a not too far away, not too long ago, I was on a no bread diet. So I decided to order that without the bread, and it was like eating chemicals. It was the most disgusting thing. So clearly the bread masked all of that flavor. It was weird. I told my wife, and she couldn't believe my reaction because she knew I loved them. I go, never again. I can't even eat. I can't even. It's stomach thinking about it now because it was like eating pure chemicals. Is what
Wow.
it tasted like to me. Yeah,
Wow.
crazy, right?
Yeah. Crazy, crazy, crazy.
All right. So speaking of Illuminati,
Illuminati. Tell us.
we have a wonderful guest coming on right now, the lovely Alan Fountain, which is going to disclose to us the Illuminati symbolization and all their craziness. And this guy, I know he's dug into it. Don't even know what he's covering exactly. I'm excited. I asked for his permission if I can interject and have a conversation with him. He said absolutely not. Go away. No, he said yes. So let's bring on our buddy Alan Fountain. You are live, sir. And mute, unmute. Can't hear you. Uh-oh.
Yeah, he's frozen up. Uh-oh, not good.
Nope. Give us a word or two, Alan. Okay, so let's do this, guys. Um, if if we roll with the rest of our programming, and while Alan's trying to fix his sound, we'll be able to hear him in the background when he comes on, right?
Right.
Okay, cool. So Alan, we're just going to run forward, and then you just keep saying test or whatever, and then we'll bring you on when we could hear you.
Yeah, hey, it's not on this side because I'm hearing you and you're coming through. There's only one feed coming out of Zoom, so yeah, it would have to be something going on his computer. Oh boy! All right, Peter Navarro, good guy. Is the chief economist for Trump's administration, serving out a 4-month prison term. He ends, I think, just a couple of days from now. I think he's only got about a week or so left. But his case is on appeal. But they put him in prison before the appeal is even heard. Unheard of. That doesn't happen.
Yep.
Steve Bannon went to prison today. He showed up for prison. He's got a 4-month sentence. The same thing. He's on appeal too. And this went all the way up to the Supreme Court on Friday, and they ruled his motion was denied that he had to serve the prison sentence before his appeal would be heard. Unheard of. Now, let's go back to last week. Congress said they were able to vote to say that the January 6th Select Committee, or some people call it the Unselect Committee, was illegal because it didn't follow the rules that were set up by Congress. They didn't have to go to the Senate. They didn't have to get the president to sign off on it. This is all Congress. So Mike Johnson held the vote.
There's something else going on. There's so much evidence that they're trying to put in Suez Canal Part 2 there, which will be a lot better for them, make a lot of money. But I'm not going to name these organizations. You guys can figure them out yourself. But there's a lot of organizations that the conservatives are just all over. Oh, they're just so wonderful,
yeah,
right? But they're not willing to say one thing against APAC, which has been funding. And I don't give a damn if I lose viewerships over this, because I'm just going to tell the truth. AIPAC and other Zionist organizations have been funding and pressuring Congress forever. And there's a major percentage of Congress that actually has dual citizenship in Israel. That should be a concern for people. That doesn't make me an anti-Semite, so fuck you, anybody that's going to say that about me, because that's not the truth. It makes me a patriot that's willing to ask questions on both sides. And until we're willing to do this, I'll call out Steve Bannon or anybody else that constantly promotes these pro-Israeli organizations without saying, what's really going on here? That is a concern for me. But I don't like Steve Bannon anyways. I'll flat out tell people I don't like him at all, because he knows a lot more than he's been saying. This is probably part of the plan or the scheme or whatever it is.
Well,
right?
that was the clue this morning, right? The car that he got into.
The fact the beast showed up. Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you. So the fact that the beast showed up, you're 100% right. That's a clue, right?
Yep.
But he knows so much more. And okay, let's say they all have to play our part for us to win. That's great. I don't have to like it, because it's still manipulating these people. It's manipulating we the people. And they believe, these gray hats believe, that the only way that the war can be won, right, is to manipulate the narrative and good people. So are they going to make a promise that after they take power, that now the manipulation's done and we the people are going to be completely transparent to? And then maybe they can convince me that it was worth it, right?
Yeah.
But
the ends justify the means, right?
Exactly. But I'm sick of the constant manipulation, because that happens. I got to spend time with two guys that are right there on the border and seeing this stuff Saturday. Okay? It happens, and it's happening. So both can be true, and that's what we have to have the discernment to understand that there can be the good guys in the background doing good work, and I believe they are. Right? In fact, I hope you have that picture of Melania and Trump that I sent you. We can show that. If not, I can screen share it here. But I hope they are, and I believe they are. That doesn't mean that the deep state doesn't still have some operations going on. And I think the manipulation of the Q message has as convinced people that both can't be going on at the same time. They're not mutually exclusive, right?
Yeah.
You can have deep state operations going on, and you can have good guys doing great things in the background at the same time. I think that's likely what's going on, and that's probably why we're going to see a shit show, and maybe some real serious stuff coming up in the very near future.
In a
So
way,
I
I'm
think our
anxious. I'm excited.
yeah, I think our responsibility is not to suck on the teat of the narrative, and like you and I do not, right? I
Hmm.
think that's our responsibility to just really go out there and tell the truth. I don't think Steve Bannon is a truth teller. I think Steve Bannon knows a hell of a lot more than he's saying, and withholding that information doesn't feel like a truth teller to me.
No, and I don't think that's his role. I think his role is he's playing his role. He's playing it really well. I think again is another one of these people where, that audience. I don't know how organically it grew. I don't know how he reaches 250,000 people a day. You know what I mean? But he
Yeah,
does, and that's
yeah.
where it is. So, that's a channel where they're disseminating the information they want out there.
I think the gray hats are really, really good at promoting their people
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
and getting them the numbers,
Hmm.
just like the deep state is,
Yep.
right? And anybody that's telling the real truth, which is a handful of podcasters, right? They're not. They have to build it organically, but it's really not organic, is it? When you're being attacked all the time and your
Correct.
accounts are being deleted and you're being shadow banned, and it's not organic at all. So we just have to be the actual real warriors out there. And I'm very proud that at the end of the day, that we will be looked at. Oh, well, you know what? They fought through it all. And I know you're like that, Robert. I know our guest Alan coming on in a second is massively like that. And I know my conscience as well, that we are fighting as hard as we can at this.
Should we bring Pope Alan Fountain on?
Let's bring on
Look, he's
Pope
Hi,
wearing the Pope
Alan
hat.
first.
Pope wears that hat.
oh, wait a minute.
There you go.
Is that better? Is that better? I had it.
Hi,
I was
Alan.
outside earlier. Good afternoon, guys. How are you
Good.
doing?
Good to
I'm
see you.
glad you flipped your hat, because it's a lot better to have hope in your soul than Pope in your hole.
That's true. That's true. And hopefully there's no more Pope in the hole going to happen for a long time.
Exactly. Let's get rid
Yeah.
of the Pope in the holes.
That's not a fun game for anyone.
That's right.
You know, it's. I haven't seen you in a while. It's really nice. You're both looking very well. That haircut's fantastic, Lewis.
Well, you know
look
why?
like you look leaner.
Yes,
It's the Neumi. It's the Neumi. That's what it is.
It's a
It's the
combination.
Neumi.
Yes. Because look at you. Both of you look
it's
leaner.
the wifey. It's the wifey. That's what it is.
I wish I had hair so I could have some improvement. You know, I would come visit. Yeah, I've
It's so good to have you here.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I've enjoyed your conversations, what you're having before this, because it is really confusing right now. Lots of if you had not been following this operation from the beginning, very very beginning, it would be so difficult to know what's going on right now. And talking about today with the Illuminati rituals, I've been looking into some very interesting things. And with our not knowing, I know this is a movie, but you just stated that there's got to be a little bit of organic deep state that have slipped through to the movie. And I think this has happened because we're in a sting operation. Being in a sting operation, you have to continually take out people, but then put people in a clemency agreement script. You know, so this has been going on likely for 4 years, because I documented in the 17 movement decoding that we did mostly everything that was binding the first 2 years. They've been removed to go into, like we believe some of our elite people that might be celebrities that have gone into witness protection. We This is why I'm having a hard time learning what is a dark Masonic ritual and what is a white hat Masonic ritual, because a lot of these people that are having what is called this Sanpaku, Sanpaku, Sanpaku eye, you can see the iris. I mean, below the iris of the eye, there's a lot of white, or a lot of white above. And this is the yin and the yang eye. You can look it up and learn what the difference is. but these patterns are proving to be consistent in the Illuminati. Like when Matthew Perry was taken out, and there was a fight recently. There's a fight about to be with Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. Um, and one of those, Jake Paul has the Senpaku eye. So they're predicting that he won't win. So there's a guy that does a lot of Illuminati ritual predictions based on the Senpaku eye, the 128 code, and he's predicted 3 fights already based on the Senpaku eye, and he's had consistent results. So these Illuminati rituals right now, where we know that they base things, the heliacal rising, the solar, the annually, there's something coming up with the sun that happens annually where they time their events. There's an event coming up July 4th. Allegedly, Independence Day was really July 2nd, but they changed it to July 4th based on the position of the sun, which is this heliacal rising, which means the planets will be seen in the east. So a lot of this early parts of our world set up in that was based on the Masonic orders and setting things up. This is where it gets confusing because we don't know. People are wanting to blame the Masons as all being bad and what they're doing. I guarantee you the Masons are still very prevalent in what's going on right now. And there's still some of them that are very prevalent in the transition we're going to in civilization. So we can't sit here and dismiss all Masons because they're not going away. They're so very powerful. You know, we do know that a lot of people that have they always tend to have a Masonic connection in their family. So this is what is all confusing about this. And I'm confused about the Templars and things of this nature because I do feel like we're in a pivoting time right now. And, you know, with the Golden Dawn, with Aleister Crowley, and then some research I've done on the Golden Dawn that has the protocols of the Golden Dawn that's following the Q operation that's liberating us, that has Trump a link to it and some of these decodes, it gets very confusing. That's why I'm thinking that some of this, I hate to call it Illuminati, I wanted to call it just numerology rituals or something of that nature. What are your thoughts on these numerology rituals still being present very actively right now when we feel like that this is a movie? So what are your thoughts with these Illuminati rituals that we would call Illuminati rituals in the past, still very active and prevalent right now, and still part of the changing times? The bridge collapsed on the 128 code. All these things are happening in their Illuminati timelines. What is your opinion and thoughts on them still being very prevalent in our timeline right now?
Well, it's interesting because I believe that the head of the snake has been cut off, but
yeah, I do too.
But their minions have been trained very well. So you get the second, third, and the fourth tier. They want to continue the agenda, and they want to pay for leadership positions within this deep state organization. So I believe what that will look like to us is their rituals will be very scattered, right?
Yes.
But they're still rituals. Their numbers mean everything for us. In
yes.
fact, for them, that's why for us, we opted for the Unity Tour coming up in September, that we're going to go to 50 cities in 33 days. Not 33 days because we believe in their numbers, 33 days because we're not going to give their numbers power. We take back their numbers. We have a high vibrational event that will destroy the ether that the Illuminati likes to put out, right? So yes, they are extraordinarily attached to their numbers. They make their decisions off of calendars that we don't even know.
Yeah.
They make their decisions based off of numbers and location of stars and moon. That's just a fact, and sun.
Yes.
Is it even the real sun or the fake sun? The sun was yellow when I was a kid. It's white now.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of unanswered questions. Now, in regards to the two Masonic strongholds maybe battling it out right now in public, as you know, I've said this many times that I think that's a possibility that should be considered. What I don't know is whether I don't know. I haven't read the rules and the mantras of the Golden Dawn or the Templars, right? I have read the rules and the mantras of the standard Freemason organizations that have run the world for
Yes.
a long, long time. And I can tell you, when you get to about the third level, you should start to pick up on the fact that this is a demonic organization,
Yeah.
right? They have to have black and white. So some of the most charitable, wonderful work ever done, oh, don't get offended, patriots, are done by Freemasons,
Yeah.
because they need the dichotomy of the white balancing the black. They
Got
will
it.
put that work on the forefront, right? While they're
Well,
doing their satanic BS in the background, right? What I don't know if the Golden Dawn and the Templars do that, because
yeah.
it appears like they're doing a lot of good. Now, let's assume the worst. Let's assume that you have two Masonic organizations just battling it out, right? You've got the satanic baby eater, and so let them take them out, and then we, the people, because we are the plan, we will stand up and hold that group accountable. I'm not saying it's
Yeah.
true. I'm not saying it's happening, but we need to prepare for that being a scenario, because clearly we are seeing there's spell casting on both sides. We just pointed out with Bannon and other people, there's manipulation on
Yeah.
both sides. Uh, Flynn is an absolute psyop wrapped in a psyop, so you really don't really know what he's thinking, but he does that intentionally, right? So that's why there's a divide in the Patriot movement: Flynn bad, Flynn good,
Yeah.
because of the messaging that he puts out. So your scenario, I think, is more than plausible for sure.
And back to that, my personal life, I'm even sometimes afraid to talk about it because I know my intentions are good. I have always, from my entire life, been uh, tracked on the path that I'm on for this liberation. It's been in my soul. So, but I don't know the people, the characters that have come into my life. Something makes me think that that there's infiltration going on. And if we know this operation for the infiltration started during Kennedy's era, if that narrative is true, these people that are in my orbit could also be in that orbit, but acting another side. So this is what makes it very confusing to me, because I'm gonna tell you, I'm a 128. This is all, it's out there in the public in my article I did on the 11/11. Also, back in 1987, I was invited to Washington D.C. with friends that are my age. Some were affluent, but it was on DuPont Square in a house. And this 128 codes has to do with when the market crashes. The market had crashed in October of the year before that. And so there was something with the 128. This was a 128 party, and I didn't understand what the hell that could be. This is just a weird coincidence that I would have been invited. I was living in California with just friends that had normal career occupations that I don't know. It's just a weird coincidence to have. And I said, well, what is the 120 party? They said, it just means that everybody only knows 128 people. But now that we're getting further into this understanding of rituals and whatever, and that's just too weird. And the fact that there's just some shit that I haven't figured out yet, but we do know they depend on them. But I also decoded and did numerology that was benevolent, that gave benevolent messages that supported the Q ascension of. So this is why I think that there could be some parts of it where you're reclaiming the numbers. I did a video on where I decoded 107 in his movie, and we know Area 51. There was people going around reversing the numbers with 15 and doing the mirror versions. So what you're talking about is you're staying in the 33 days, etc. I think a lot of activity right now is taking away the illusion of power in some of these numbers and backing it with positive intentions. So this is why it's very confusing right now of people trying to say good and bad in duality. We know the black and white squares. Also with Julian Assange right now, there was a lot of circulation going on with his coming out on June 24. But the true numerological equation of that, they are leaving out the 20. You have to include the 20 in there. So that becomes 668 instead of 666. So people are manipulating to fit their own narratives and needs. And so I've always decoded Julian Assange. In fact, it's all falling into place. I did an article in 2019 that had Julian Assange being released, coming out, had Kamala Harris featured in there. So all these things I have in this article from back in 2019 is coming into fruition right now. So if this is part of the movie, I see I'm picking up that Joe Biden might be going to have to step down, and Kamala Harris is going to move up into this role, and something happened militarily that helps crash that party. Because according to the DNC rules, I don't think they can just automatically put in Newsom. They have to stay in alignment with what their order is, from what I understand. Also, the 128 code appears in the House of Cards, where Claire Underwood becomes the 47th female president. So this is some of the Illuminati rituals. So there's a lot going on here, when you start decoding, from that aspect.
Just for clarification, in 2022, the DNC changed the rules.
They did. Okay, I didn't know.
Of how they can get that, and I believe it's a vote of 12 in order to replace them. But they have a backup. So if for some reason Kamala would step into that position, she's already disqualified.
Yes.
Immediately, and they know that, so they would get whoever they want in there. But again, if it's a movie and it's controlled by the gray hats, which some people call white hats, we'll see, right? We don't know. Very exciting though, isn't it, Alan?
Yes, very exciting. Can you clarify whether or not the rules would permit Michelle Obama or Gavin Newsom to jump into that?
Yeah, sure. So first, there is nobody that's actually Michelle Obama. There is a Michael Robinson. But yes. So
you
what happened?
Conspiracy theorist.
I know, it's just crazy. We had to rename the show because of my mouth.
I know.
It was News and Views. Now it's News, Views, and Conspiracies.
But there's a pregnant picture of her. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sure it's real too. Yeah, her and Meghan Markle together.
Yeah.
And
Mary Magdalene.
What was interesting though is they can put in Big Mike, or they can put in Gavin Newsom for sure. So what has to happen, if I'm correct by reading this, it appears that, and then for medical reasons or him just wanting to step down, it activates that 2022 rule, right?
Got it.
What I don't know is if they have to defer to vice president first, but if so, it's just one separation away, and then they get their person, which they can do by the vote of 12 that have literally are making decisions for the nation. They don't have to go to a revote. They don't have to go to We the People. They don't even have to go to delegates and say what you want. It's just a vote of 12 people from the DNC that say, hey, this is our guy or gal. Well, I can't say gal because it would be Big Mike or Newsom. So this would be our guy.
Got it. Well, I just want to remind people, if you're interested in learning the Illuminati rituals that are going on right now, remember Sanpaku Eyes, SANPAKU Eyes. Look it up. And also the 128 code. There's a Time magazine that's coming out as August edition with Joe Biden stepping out of the Masonic Square. So this is part of the 128 code that's going to appear in Time magazine. And it comes out on, I don't know if it's August 5th but there's something they're projecting for August 5th. I don't know if that's when he'll be replaced or whatever, but this is according to that. But remember the 128 coat, and you can follow Donut Factory on YouTube. He's great at this, and he has great guests on that.
Cool. Alan, thank you for bringing your high vibration to the show. I think people love to see you with this mindset and appreciate everything you do, brother.
Thank you.
And we'll talk soon. I probably talked to you before our fake 4th of July, but let's enjoy it anyways. I love the fireworks.
Excellent. Thank you. God bless y'all. Thank you very much.
God bless.
Thank you, Alan. Appreciate you. You know, Lewis, I thought it was about the hot dogs July 4th. I didn't know it was the fireworks. Okay, well.
All right, Obama.
Well, it's the ice cream for me.
Oh,
me
God.
Me and Corn Pop are going to have ice cream.
You be careful. You just said hot dogs and ice cream. If I was dumb enough to say pizza, we would all be in trouble. All right. So let's be really ice cream. Let's make pizza great again, not what the deep state wants it to be.
That's right. We'll take our pizza back.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Corn Pop had a good thing with ice cream.
All right.
Bye-bye.
See you, Alan. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. See you later.
Thanks, Alan.
Bye-bye.
Hoi. I tell you. How about some pine needle extract to kind of calm things down here a little bit? You think that would be good?
Yes. You know what's funny is I actually have it right here, and I love the taste. And I'm not even saying that, guys. I love the taste of this stuff. It is
amazing, yeah.
And I actually kind of hold it in my mouth probably longer than I should, just because I like the flavor. There you go. Tell me about it.
So pine needle extract helps with respiratory function. You know what has attacked our respiratory system over the past couple of years here. It'll help with that. It helps support a healthy immune system because our immune systems are real important, especially. You might think, well, people only get sick during the winter. Not true. A lot of people get sick in the summer too. You got to keep your immune system up. There's a lot of stuff floating around always. Somebody said there's
surprised it's not 66,600.
Yeah, exactly right. So there's stuff floating around all the time. You want to be strong. It assists in brain and nervous system health and supports a healthy detoxification process. You can find out more about this and some of Lance's amazing products, sbgascent.com, or for a simpler domain, we're going to change this one here, screwbiggov.com/health. screwbiggov.com/health will get you there as well. This domain sometimes is a little bit hard to spell, SBGASCENT. People have trouble with it, so screwbiggov.com, just put a / and write the word health, and you'll get right to Lance's website and all the good products that he has to offer. We love Lance, and we love the fact that he is so much of a stickler for quality. Just amazing products he's got. All right.
Lance is amazing. That's an understatement.
Yeah, it really is. And we're going to have him back again. I don't know. Was that his voice or was voiced over? I know it's.
Yeah, I think it's voiced over, but that was pretty cool.
It was cute.
That is pretty cool. That kid is amazing.
See if we could figure out the Rumble issue. Like, I want to know. So
I know.
We'll wrap this up for today.
Hey, let's show a real quick screenshot that I have, if you could. It's a conspiracy, though, folks, of course, right?
Yeah.
Q is a complete conspiracy. Donald Trump has nothing to do with Q. He doesn't even know what Q is. What is Q exactly? Oh, but yet I highlighted it. Donald J. Trump retruth. If you don't believe me, go to his Truth Social and look at it yourself. Retruth. Where we go one, we go all. Oh, by the way, what is that right there? Can you see that, Robert?
What am I looking for? The Spiritual Street Fighter 17?
Right under the L. What do you see barely hidden right there?
Under the L. Oh, a little Q. I see.
There's a little Q, folks.
Baby Q.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure it was just an accident, or maybe that was an homage to Q. Just a conspiracy theory, though.
Hey, you retruthed it. There's got to be something to it. If he didn't believe that Q was something real, he would not have retruthed that. I'm sure somebody on his staff would have picked up on it.
You got it.
You got it.
Absolutely got it.
Thank you, my friend. Fun show as always.
Yep. All right, brother man. We appreciate you. Did a great job as usual. I believe I'm with Ethan Lucas tomorrow,
Okay.
and then Wednesday we'll be back on, and then who knows what we're going to do on July 4th. Well, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to be in my jacuzzi.
I'm
Um,
going to play a video, a half hour of just fireworks. That's what I'll do.
just fireworks. Well, if the Supreme Court keeps doing their job, there's going to be a lot of fireworks to
Yeah. And
play.
are there any more rulings to come out, or do we have them all now? I got to check that out.
I think they're working on some stuff. Lloyd Brunson, I talked to him over the weekend. He's very excited about his stuff. There's actually a correlation, if you notice, between the Chevron case and the Brunsons. You have independent people bringing these cases to the attention of the Supreme Court, which can change everything. So
Yeah.
it's pretty exciting stuff. And folks, tomorrow I'm going to be on Nicholas Veniamin, and I will be actually showing you the SCOTUS decisions that have absolutely changed the makeup of the deep state.
Awesome. I will catch that episode for sure.
Okay, Robert, love to you and your lovely lady. Appreciate you very much. And folks, we appreciate you. And I know this one's recorded. Sorry, Rumble did a hatchet job on us today, but we'll be right back on tomorrow. And in the future, you'll be able to see all this live on screwbigov.com.
Indeed. Thank you, everyone. Love you much. Thank you, Lewis.